Secretary General gonna tell you to come right in if she get tired of reading. But I'm gonna start first. Yo, thanks a lot though. Who was that? Who said that?
Gabby.
Yeah, that's Gabby, Secretary. Let me go back. A couple of slides because I didn't start it. So welcome to the Hasan Political Education class, week 8. Each week, students will be assigned reading and videos to study and will convene once a week to discuss the material, interpret and break down the core concepts, questions, and answers, and prepare for next week's study materials. Remember that taking notes can be really beneficial, even audio ones, and don't be afraid to ask for help. We are all in this together. Each week, you are encouraged to bring the following: quotes from the material, questions you have, your interpretation of the material, core concepts, revolutionary spirit. Comrades, our studies this week will focus on the survival programs pending revolution. UP Newton's position paper, Black Capitalism Reanalyzed. Before we start, we're gonna before we start, we're gonna listen to Comrade Kwame. He's gonna be speaking for a few minutes. We were supposed to watch this before we came here today. I'm not sure if 2 weeks ago I told everybody to watch this, but we were supposed to watch the entire video. But I'm gonna let it play right now.
Educate everybody what the original Black Panther Party stood for and how some of this stuff I'm gonna read today even applies today.
Hey, look, Comrade Kwame is reading. He's reading from, I think, that's the UP Newton Reader. Look, when we come here to speak to the people, we're not coming here to make up stuff, make up what we think or how we feel, our opinion. Yeah, we're giving you the words of our luminaries, right from their mouth, from the pages of the books that they wrote and everything that they believed in. So when we come here, like it really amazes me how everything that we are speaking about from the 70s, from the 60s, really applies to our current time.
It says, this is a dialogue in our community. This is a dialogue in our community, continuing discussion of the new thrust of the Black Panther Party as we begin to carry out the original vision of the party. When we coined the expression, all power to the people, we had in mind emphasizing the word power. For we recognize that the will to power is the basic drive of man, but it is incorrect to seek power over people. We have been subjected to the dehumanizing power of exploitation and racism for hundreds of years, and the Black community has its own will to power also. What we seek, however, is not power over people, but the power to control our own destiny. For us, the true definition of power is not in the terms of how many people you can control. To us, power is, first of all, the ability to define phenomena, and secondly, the ability to make these phenomena act in a desired manner. People just tuning on, this is I'm reading from the Huey P. Newton Reader, edited by David Hilliard and Donna Wise. This is a part of the political education I'm going to start doing from now on for the community. And we reading from something that he wrote called Black Capitalism Reanalyzed 1. He wrote this June 5th, 1971. All right, to continue. He said, we see then that power has a dual character, and that we cannot simply identify and define phenomena without acting, for to do so is to become an armchair revolutionary. When Bobby and I left Merritt College to organize Brothers on the Block, we did so because the college students were too content to sit around and analyze without acting. On the other hand, power includes action, for it is making phenomena perform in a desired manner. But action without thinking in theory is also incorrect. If the social forces at work in the community have not been correctly analyzed and defined, how can you control them in such a way that they act in a desired manner? So the Black Panther Party has always merged theory and practice in such a way as to serve the true interests of the community. In merging theory with practice, we recognized that it was necessary to develop a theory which was valid for more than one time and place. We wanted to develop a system of thinking which was good anywhere, thus it had to be rather abstract. Yet our theory would relate to a concrete analysis of concrete conditions so that our actions will always be relevant and profitable to the people. Yet at the same time, it had to advance their thinking so that they would move toward a transformation of their situation of exploitation and oppression We have always insisted on good theory and good practice, but we have not always been successful in carrying this through. When the Black Panther Party defected from the black community, we became, for a while, revolutionary cultists. One of the primary characteristics of a revolutionary cultist.
All power to the people. Black capitalism reanalyzed UP New in 1971. Addressing the survival needs of the people, building Pan-African unity, and sowing the seeds of the world socialist revolution. International capitalism cannot be destroyed without the extremes of struggle. The entire colonial world is watching the blacks inside the U.S., wondering and waiting for us to come to our senses. Their problem and struggles with the American monster are much more difficult than they would be if we actively aided them. We are on the inside. We are the only ones besides the very small white minority left who can get at the monster's heart without subjecting the world to nuclear fire. We have a momentous historical role to act out if we will. The whole world, for all time in the future, will love us and remember us as the righteous people who made it possible for the world to live on. This is George Jackson, 1970. This is not Africa. This is not Chairman Chaka. This is not Kwame. This is nobody else. This is not Jack from the White Panther Party. This is none of us saying this. This is George Jackson. When you hear this professional black folks or white liberals speaking about our history and talking about people like George Jackson, they never give you quotes like this. They never really tell you what George Jackson was talking about. George Jackson, this is exactly what George Jackson was talking about, and he knew who the enemy was. The enemy is not the people. The enemy is not gay people. The enemy is not white men. The enemy is not white women. The enemy is the people who control our lives, who control all the institutions that govern our lives. Those are our enemies. The imperialists, those are our enemies. And when you read our luminaries, they tell you, there's no equivocation to it. There's nothing here on this or all these words that says our enemy is the white man, is the white woman, is gay people, is black man, is black women, is this, is that, is immigration, is gay people. None of that. It is clear who our enemy is. The primary motive of a true revolutionary is love of the people. The primary motive of a true revolutionary is love of the people. So if you don't know how to spot a revolutionary, that's how you spot them. Not just the people in your family, your neighborhood, or your country, but the people of the whole world, and particularly the generations of people yet unborn. It is the duty of a revolutionary to represent the fight for the future in the struggle of today. Not everything is possible, but what is possible is for human society to, at long last, break free of the epoch of exploitation that has, since the rise of the patriarchy and the institution of slavery, chained human society to a succession of forms of political economy based upon class exploitation and oppression. Exploitation and oppression by who? Through class. Like I'm telling you, like when you read this, you're not going to see the hate. Because like people say like the Panthers hate these people, they hate these people. But this is what the Panthers believe. It is not just possible. It is necessary. Because unless we do so, the present monopoly capitalist system, imperialism, will be the end of our evolution. Evolution as human beings, all of us. Not one individual race, not one tribe, all of us. If they continue, all of us will perish. It will bring on the extinction of our species and all our relations by its wanton destruction of the ecosystem on which our survival depends. This is what, 60, 70, 80 years ago. And by the necessity of unending war on which imperialism existence depends. The leopard cannot change its spots, and imperialism cannot change its nature. It is driven by only one law, and that is maximization of the rate of profit on investment of capital. Like it's basically, they're telling you like this is what capitalism is about. It has nothing to do with people, nothing. It's only about like ripping from the community, taking profit from the community. oppressing people, stealing from people. That is all capitalism is about.
Captain, go back to that slide.
All power, all power.
So if you see this link below, it says Nuveen buys 12,000 plus apartments in Major. So about 5 years ago, that picture, we used to live in that building. It's called the Garden Spires. About 5 years ago, that building was bought by a developer named Mo Vaughn, who is a former professional baseball player and associate of the mayor, Ras Baraka. So he brings these developers in. This company got all the tax rebates, all the incentives, all the millions in state aid, city aid, government aid. And now this year, May 23, they sold all their real estate portfolio, which includes these two buildings. So that just, I bring that up to say that the sole purpose of these capitalists is just to make money. Like Captain Africa said, it doesn't matter. They don't care about the people. So, I'm speculating here, but for that deal to go through, they had to evict a lot of tenants. In Essex County, the majority of the tenants that are facing eviction cases are those that live in those two buildings. So it's not a coincidence. These people know what they are doing.
All power to the people. Hey, if I click on this link, does it show the mayor giving a press conference?
No, that's a different link. I put it in the chat. It says, so if you want to read about the press conference and the history of this property, it is in the link that's in the chat. Is labeled Mice Leaks and Rehab, I believe. Mice leaks persist at New Jersey housing complex after $58 million renovation, tenants say. So that'll give you,
all power.
yeah, you can follow up on the story on there.
All power. Before we started this political education class, we saw the video of what happened the other day. These are the buildings that we were talking about. There are other buildings in the city. There's other property that the mayor gave away to developers, to slumlords. But when I was talking to him, these were the buildings I was talking about. He had a press conference out there with Sheila Oliver and all the Democratic heads in the city, and they were waxing poetically about how they were giving these people tax abatement to bring them into the community, how they were going to revitalize the community, give resources to the people in the community. And they did none of that. They came in, they gentrified the community, the double people's rent, and they pushed everybody out. And just like venture capitalists, they flipped it and they sold it to somebody else. None of that shit has anything to do with the people in the community. None of it. In fact, it pushed the people out, bringing a different class of people, and like totally disrupt everything in the community. Capital seeks the highest rate of profit, like a vampire seeks blood. It cannot change its predatory nature. It can only put on a human face to conceal its fangs and lull its victim into a false sense of security. So you hear these politicians, when they're in a Black community, they'll be so pro-Black. When they're in the Latin community, they'll be so pro-Latin. When they're in the white community, they'll be so white as apple pie. Everywhere that they go, they're like chameleons. They must go into those communities and try to look like those communities while they suck the blood and remove the resources from that community. That is the purpose that politicians serve. Politicians do the bidding of imperialism, of imperialists. Imperialists, who are imperialists? The people that they sold the buildings to. Those are imperialists. The people that they gave those millions of dollars of tax abatements for the next 30 years. That's why those people put those politicians in power, so they can write laws and policies that benefit them. It can only put on a human face to conceal its fangs and lull its victim into false sense of security. But everyone is on the menu. Money is the master, and people are the slaves. Even the monopoly capitalists, they are bound by the law of maximization of the rate of profit as if by an unbreakable curse. And they will do whatever serves this master regardless of human cause, even to the point of their own self-destruction. And if you watch the video that I showed, this is their self-destruction. As a politician, this is not how you behave. But like when you're so mired and you're stuck in being a hustler, being a scammer, like you can't get out your own way. You can't even see what's in front of you. You can't even understand. You can't get on video and argue with the people that you don't care about the people. Because you're in your own way. You don't even see what's going on anymore. You don't even respect the people. You think you can do what you want to do. Money is a human invention. I need y'all to understand that. I need people to understand that when we say a social construct, money is a human invention. It is an abstract idea to represent value created by human labor, to price commodities in the market of exchange. All of that is a social construct. People design that. It is only as real as we agree that it is. Remember, that we. It is only as real as we agree that it is. Value is created socially by the masses of workers, each doing their job, extracting wealth from the earth and transforming it by their labor and application of technology into commodities for consumption. The labor power of the workers is itself a commodity bought by capitalists and is the source of their wealth and power. So if somebody say, how are you still slaves? How do you say we're still slaves? This is how we are all still slaves. All of us, we are always slaves. I don't care if you're gay, white, whatever, I don't care what you are. We are all wage slaves to imperialism, to imperialists. This is the social construct that we are in. The difference between the cost of the workers' labor power and the value created by it is the capitalist profit. In week one, we went through this and we had Richard Wolff. Richard Wolff did the whole diagram on the board where he explained where the money come from, how when the money generated, how it's broken down, who gets what. That's what they're basically talking about here. The difference between the cost of the workers' labor power and the value created by it is the capitalist profit. The capitalists keep the profit, less the cost of materials and overhead. He talked about all of this. Richard Wolff talked about all of this. And the rate of profit is the speed at which a profit is turned. Capitalists compete to invest where the rate of profit is the highest. It's highest. Like remember when they took jobs, send the jobs overseas, to hell with everybody in America, to hell with everybody in Detroit, everybody all around the country, to hell with them. These companies, these imperialists, took the wealth and went to another country and fired everybody and made everybody homeless, brought about depression. Like this is what these people do because they're seeking the highest profit margin, not human. They don't care about humanity. They don't care about people. They don't care about democracy. All of that is lip service.
Let me interject, Captain, because it all circles back to what is happening today. In the article where you will read about the investment arm of the teachers' insurance and annuity, the one that brought the portfolio of the building that's included with Garden Spires. In that article, because it's a real estate article attracting investors, it says in there that investing into the affordable housing market is the next best thing to do. Because commercial real estate coming out of COVID, that market is about to implode because because people are still working remote and the buildings are just sitting but that market about to close. So now their eyes are set on the affordable market because it's going to give them a steady rate of return because the government is subsidizing these development. So so just to put some context to what's going on.
All power. Capitalists compete to invest where the rate of profit is highest. The contradiction between the social nature of production and the private ownership of the means of production, including the workers' labor power, prevents the social control of production and society and ensures the dictatorship of the monopoly capitalists over the whole society. So it's not like in a third world country, it's here. It's right here in Detroit. It's right here in Michigan. It's right here in Chicago. It's right here in Newark, New Jersey. They're doing these things right here in real time. The politics of imperialism are dictated by the class interests of the monopoly capitalists, as it is the nature of the rate of profit to fall under conditions of automation. As production becomes more capital intensive and there are fewer workers to exploit. The monopoly capitalists are driven to seek cheaper labor costs and lower overhead, cheaper rent on land, cheaper raw materials and energy costs, lower taxes, and less safety and environmental protection regulation. This is what they aim to do. This is what the imperialists are trying to do. There's no negotiating with them. You can negotiate with them about what they're trying to do to be able to extract resources from you and thus boost their rate of profit. This is the force that drives politics under imperialism and brings on wars as the imperialists contend among themselves to control undeveloped countries and their natural resources and keep the people of these countries poor and down pressed as reserve of cheap labor. Yo, we're talking about, we're not just talking about other countries, third world countries. We're talking about North. We're talking about all the cities and states in America. This, like what they do overseas, they will bring right back here home. The vampires seek the vampires seek the freedom to suck the people's blood, and their appetite only grows. It doesn't slacken. The alternative to this free market political economy is a command economy, socialism, where the people make decisions about what is best for them on a collective basis and decide how to develop their economy. You may hear it, they call it democracy. In America, every politician you see come up, they're like, our democracy. We can't lose our democracy. We don't have a democracy. America is not a democracy. Yo, if you look it up, if you Google it, yo, America is an oligarchy. There's nothing democratic about America. Democracy is like socialism. It means everybody has a stake or have a part in what's going on. Yo, when America goes to Ukraine, yo, I don't get nothing from it. Nothing that they're doing in Ukraine has anything to do with me, has anything to do with you. It's all about the imperialists. Yo, we have no say-so in anything that the government does. And if you don't believe that, yo, go check out the study done by the Princeton, is it Princeton? I think it was Princeton. There was a study done in 2014 where it says America is an oligarchy. Now, this is not something that I'm making up. You go Google that and look it up for yourself. It's probably in the chat, and you see it for yourself. America is not a democracy. This is an oligarchy. But the vampires are tricking us to believe that if we go vote, if we participate in the system, we're going to change material conditions. When the oligarchs, when the imperialists all control every single institution, and it doesn't matter who you vote for. It don't matter if you vote blue, red, or whatever Cornel West is going to be. Nothing on the ground will change, because this is how it's the institutions are made to function. When you got where was that? Develop the account. As every movie buff knows, when you've got vampire trouble, it doesn't do any good to try to reason with or make deals with the vampire. What was it? The Lost Boys. I know there's some people on here that saw the Lost Boys when we was growing up. That used to be my favorite vampire movie. But when you watch all those movies, you're going to see there's a way to defeat the vampires. There are things they're scared of. Let me keep reading. We're gonna get to that. You got to get scientific on this ass. Got to study and learn all about vampirism, what they can and can't do, what their weaknesses are, and how to take them out. They are powerful and scary, but they're not invincible. You just have to go about things the right way, use the right weapons, and pick the right time to do battle with them. Hey, yo, that video that we watched earlier with the mayor, all of that. See, like, people think these are reactionary things. This is not reactionary. Hey, yo, the strategy of City Hall, of the mayors, of these politicians, and we've been reading it in other classes. We read through it about J. Edgar Hoover, what they did, how COINTELPRO, how all of this functioned. And these people have no answers. They cannot speak sincerely about what's going on. So whenever you hold them accountable, they're going to find COINTELPRO tactics to try to dehumanize you and try to get you out of the way so people will listen to you, try to isolate you. Yo, I understand that because I go to this political education classes. So it's when a political official makes a threat, insults, character assassinates, yo, man, I pull out my camera. In the 60s, they didn't have cell phones to record people and whatever, to record this FBI agent that's following them, that's in the car, that's telling them sitting in front of their houses. Yo, I have my cell phone. As soon as they start talking, yo, I let the people hear what they're saying. I let the people see them through that video, see their actions and how they treat the people. Once the people see them for what they are, there's nothing they can do to change that. No amount of money, no politician, no oligarch, nobody can save you. Because without the people, you're nothing. Without the people, you have nothing. You could have all the institutions, you could have the schools, you could have the banks, you could have City Hall, but if the people don't walk through those doors, those institutions will wither and die. So when you pull out the camera, when you show these people for who they are, they're going to hate you. They're going to do everything they can in their power to get rid of you. And that's what we're going through right now. You just have to go about things the right way, use the right weapons, and pick the right time to do battle. And the right time to do battle is when they're in public. When they're in public with everybody else, you hold them accountable with the public. You let the public know these people are responsible for you being homeless. These people are responsible for your mother, for your father, your aunts, your children, you yourself not being able to afford rent, not being able to go get a place to stay. Because when you try to get a place to stay, they have leased the buildings, they have leased the homes, they have written policy to put the power in the hands of the imperialists. So now you are weak, you're weakless. You can't do nothing, but you're blaming yourself. We're all blaming ourselves, saying like, we got to get another job, we got to work harder, we got to stop eating, we got to eat less, maybe eat 1 meal instead of 2 meals a day. Maybe if you do all of this, you'll be able to survive. That is straight savagery. Meanwhile, you've got to survive while you get your shit together. Now, everybody knows that the monopoly capitalists hate socialism. Capitalists hate socialism. Socialism is the people controlling the means of production, the people having power. And capitalism means the rich maintaining and holding on to power. They hate the word, hate the merest whisper of it. They hate it like a vampire hates holy water or the light of the sun. Even a little socialism, like nationalization of a country's oil reserve, drives them into murderous frenzy. They want to privatize everything. That is, they want to own everything and squeeze a profit out of everything and everybody. Don't want the people to control a thing. I'm telling you, sooner or later, maybe in my lifetime, they're going to charge for air. We're going to be out here, we're going to have to pay a bill to breathe. This is what is coming to. They're charging for water. They're going to be charging for everything out here if we sit idly by and let them do it. Socialism is more than a break on the excess of a free market economy dominated by the interests of global monopoly capitalists. It is the means to escape the epoch of exploitation altogether. It means to slay the vampire and vampirism once and for all by abolishing the division of society into classes and all forms of exploitation and oppression that go with it. It is the dawning of a new day. In sociology, we call that social stratification. Social stratification. I got my degree in sociology. I wanted to know how societies function. But what they're talking about right there is social stratification, like dividing everybody. You have white people on this side, you have gay people on this side, you have white women on this side, you have black women on this side, you have all women on this side, you have women and gay people on this side, you have the handicapped people on this side, you have the immigrants on this side. You divide everybody under class lines, and you will be able to steal, to reap the resources of that space, of that community easier when you divide everybody. But when the people come together and they understand intercommunally, community to community, that they should turn their backs from the imperialists and work together, capitalism would die. These people would die. That is why our work is so important in these communities, why coming to these political education classes is so important. So wherever you're at in the country, and we come to this political education class and we learn all of this and we start working intercommunally together. That's what activism is. That's what organizing is. Going door to door, having meetings, talking to people, coming to a middle ground on how our lives should be, on how we are going to control our destiny. That's what the organizing process is. It is not going to vote. It is not listening to MSNBC, CNN, or Fox. That is how none of that stuff has anything to do with politics. All of those are social constructs to coerce you into supporting imperialists that only aim is to suck your blood. All societies based upon exploitation are class dictatorship. A class dictatorship. The ruling class dictates to and oppresses the exploited classes in order to maintain an unequal and exploitative relations that have been created. Now, I'm gonna read that last line in a second. Hey, yo, but we got to talk about it. People don't want to talk about class. And in most of these activist circles, we always, the people that are always in there are teachers. Yo, a general secretary, who did they sell the building to?
So the Teachers Insurance and Annuity Association. So that is like the pension retirement arm of the teachers union, I would say. And so each of those entities have like their own management hedge fund to grow their portfolio of that teachers insurance and annuity. So yeah, the teachers are profiting off of the evictions of this,
The families,
yeah,
the families of their students, and this is
yeah,
how,
pretty much.
this how capitalism work. Like, I know a normal teacher get up, they go to work, they think like they're doing the best. Well, if they believe that they're doing the best that they can, they're helping out society. But part of it is them buying into this capitalist system where they are used to oppress the same families that they're supposed to be teaching. It is what it is. You have to accept that. You have to understand that is the reality that we are in. And once you accept that, then we can move forward. But under socialism, the working class has seized the power to change these relations. And that's what, if you read France Fanon, Wretched of the Earth, that's what he's saying. The first shall be last, which is the imperialists who are first right now. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Yo, that's the only way it works. There's no negotiation. Like me walking up to the mayor, and he's an imperialist, he's a capitalist. There's no negotiation between myself and the mayor. There's nothing we could talk about. There are no backroom deals. There's no conversation to be had. The only conversation is you a sellout and you a traitor to the people. And until you're willing to change who you are, there's no relationship there. All government consists of special bodies of armed men. When I went to speak to the mayor, he was surrounded by the cops, by armed guards, and now women as well, whose job is to maintain the existing property relations in society. Let me read that again. All government consists of special bodies of armed men, and now women as well. Because like that's what, because to this the imperialist inclusion is bringing in different people to do the same crimes to the people. So that's the inclusion that they talk about. When they say they're bringing women in, they're not making women equal. No, you're not becoming equal. Women are not becoming equal. Gay people are not becoming equal. They're assimilating them into an oppressive state. And they join the oppression of everybody else, whose job it is to maintain the existing property relations in society. Their job, the police, they're not here to serve and protect the people. They're here to serve and protect the imperialists. That's why wherever you go on the corner of the planet, the people hate the police. Wherever you go, there's no way you're going to go on this planet where the people, the masses of people, the proletariat class, do not hate the police. They are the military, secret agents, the police and prison guards, and those who command them. After a socialist revolution, the class at the bottom, the workers, create their own state with their own special bodies of armed men and women in order to transform the property relations in society. This is necessarily a protracted process that advances in stages. But look here, this was written in the 60s. We're in 2023. Now, this is me. This is Africa speaking now. This is not what I've learned from UEP, whatever, but it kindly is. It, like, I learned from them for me to grow, for me to reach different levels. We don't need to wait for a socialist revolution. We don't need to sit down and say when the deck is set, when everything is set, that's when we're going to get this. If you work in the community with the people, if you suffer with the people, and the people see you on a daily basis, on the ground, on the front line, suffering with them, they will start to join you. When the police came and grabbed me, I didn't behave as like a reactionary. I understood what they were coming there to do. They wanted to punish me. If anything, they may have killed me. If I had tried to resist, if I had tried to fight back, I have no doubt they probably would have killed me, because that's how much they hate me and my family. But when they came, I didn't behave like a reactionary. I put my hand behind my back, because what are they going to do to you for what was the charge again? The charge was terroristic threat. What are they going to do with the terroristic threat? That is nothing. That is just a catch-all like resisting arrest. You're going to go to court. You're going to go to court for probably a year and a half. They're going to make you go through legal fees. But that night, they can't really keep you that long. They can't keep you for charges like that. So you just be calm, go with them, go inside their little cell, because it's torture. When they arrested me and you see, I forgot. I'm in my 40s now. When I started getting locked up as a teenager, when I started going to prison, going back and forth, when they was targeting and like cleaning out the whole community, gentrifying the community when I was like in the 90s, around the 89, 90, when they were doing gentrification back then, they targeted the community, came up with the crime bill, and they targeted the community and they locked everybody up in the community. I was one of those people they locked up. Biden's crime bill, all of that. I'm one of those people. So when you get locked up, you really don't realize what's going on because you're a kid. You're not politically savvy. You're apolitical in most cases. And when I went in, I didn't pay attention. But now, as an adult with 3 degrees of family, kids, I've raised a family, I've been an activist for all these years. You're the first thing I noticed when I went in there, the isolation, the lights that they beam on you. Like they have bright lights that's beaming on you. And it's cold, it's freezing cold in there, and you only have 2 metal benches to sleep on. So I haven't been found guilty of anything. I was arrested at a basketball game because somebody said something. The mayor said something. I am not under punishment. If anything, they're trying to investigate, do their paperwork for them to release me, whatever. But why are you torturing me? Why are you putting me through sensory deprivation? But it's just not me. Every single person in the community that goes through those doors that they detain, because you're not a prisoner yet. You haven't been found guilty. If we're living in a democracy, you're not guilty. They're just detaining you, holding you. There's no need for punitive punishment. They shouldn't have 2 cameras watching you and the lights beaming on you and it's freezing and they know it. They know what they're doing. Because the officer said it when I was leaving out. When they came to get me 2:30 in the morning, he said it. He said it's cold and the light, whatever, and he going with the camera and everything. They know what they're doing. So why are you doing that? Because you think the people are worthless. You don't believe in the people. You don't love the people. That is how you can be a mayor, you can be a councilman, you can be police, you can be the chief of police, and you know these conditions exist, and yet do nothing about them because you despise the people. You hate the people. Who sets up a condition? Who sets up conditions like that for people that are just accused of anything? It's evil people. It's vampires. Step by step, they revolutionize society to uplift.
1 second, Captain Africa. You was about to make a point that we didn't have to wait for the revolution to create
our community army. All power. Thank you. We don't have to wait for the revolution to have our army. We don't have to wait for the revolution to build dual contending power, to build institutions in our communities together. We need not wait for this utopia time and space, whatever. No, you can do it now. Yo, when they put me in that cop car, and you know who protected my family? If you watch the video when my son, faced off with the officer in the blue t-shirt, you can see the face of another young man in the community. He has a record. He's the kind of people that this society is targeting. Yo, he put himself between him and the pigs to protect my family. Not only him, another one, Free. He's in the community. These are people at the bottom of the social scale. These are people that the city don't care about. They stood between the police and my family to protect my family. Because when they took me away, that's all I was worried about. I'm like, yo, what are they doing to my family? What's going on with Patience? What's going on with my daughter? What's going on with my son? Because I know they're not just going to sit there and let them do this. When I got out and I saw that video, like tears came to my eyes. Because it's saying exactly what we need to do. It's saying it right here. The military, secret agents, the police and prison guards, and those who command them. After a socialist revolution, the class at the bottom, the workers create their own state with their own special bodies of armed men and women in order to transform the property relations in society. Yo, we have started that battle. We have started to do that. You don't have to tell, like people, like when you say we don't want police in our community, yo, people can't fathom that. Oh my God, no police in the community. What's going to happen? It's going to be anarchy. Yo, if the people are not starving, they're not robbing each other. If the people are not starving, if the people understand you care about them, if the people love each other, the community love each other, they are not going around harming each other. It's go all around the world. America is not the only society in the world. Go around the world. I grew up in Africa. Part of my life was growing up in Africa. And as a child living in Nigeria, in a village, in the city, I never saw a cop. I don't remember ever seeing a cop in the village. They may have them now. They may have them now. But as a child growing up in Africa, I don't remember ever seeing a cop. I don't remember ever seeing a homeless person. These things are possible in society if the society is organized to function that way. Where was I at? Yeah, step by step, the revolution of society to uplift and empower the poor and create new social relations based upon serving the people's needs, promoting social justice and the highest interests of humanity, while preventing capitalist restoration and return to the old exploitative ways. So once we get our things together, we can let the capitalists come back in and start all over with what they've been doing for the last couple of 100 years. At a certain point, society takes a qualitative leap forward, and the need for a state withers away because the basic contradictions and divisions in society have been eliminated. Patriarchy, classism, racism. Once all of these things are gone, then, well, we don't have to wait, but they will go away. Once you create a society that serves everybody, all these things will go away because these are all social constructs. Racism is a social construct. It is a social design. It is not put here by God. It is not put here by science. Racism, patriarchy, all of whatever ism, these are all social constructs created by other human beings, men and women, black and white. I mean, this is not a racial thing, it's a class thing. It's a class struggle, God damn it. This is what we're going through. The epoch of exploitation will be over, and the new post-exploitative epoch or communism will be a radically different new world, in many ways reminiscent of pre-exploitative epoch, but on a global basis and with a much higher technological base. The operating principle will be from each according to their ability and to each according to their need. And I know it's hard for people to fathom that, but it can happen. Our reality right now is only in place because they have written rules and laws to maintain our reality. Just as they have written rules and laws and policies to maintain this social construct, we can do the same. We can produce laws and policies amongst ourselves. I'm not talking about going to City Hall, going to see these people. Yo, people always think like, yo, Panthers or whatever, we want to go down and start a war and start fighting with the state. Yo, listen, come here. Hey, yo, listen. I want you to understand. If you walk away from their institutions will die. You don't need to throw Molotov cocktails at them. You don't need to get guns and go to war with them. All you need is to pull your children and your family away from their institutions. And that's where the organizing is. When we start to organize to pull our children in all our communities from their institutions, we will start to see wins and gains. But right now, we're being force-fed, brainwashed, bamboozled, hoodwinked, ran amok, and told that our only option is to go vote and to enter these institutions that are oppressing us. Money will be a thing to show the kids in the museum. Think about that. The money that everybody's dying for. Everybody in the hood, all they want to do is make money. They keep thinking anything. When you want to go to school, it's all about money. Anything, education is all about money. Yo, there was a time when people just wanted to learn. It's not like that anymore. That's not how our society functions anymore. The way our society all over the globe function is you go to school to make money. So you don't have to learn nothing. You can memorize, spit it out, and keep it trucking. And go, after you graduate, go get a job, move out to the suburbs, keep paying off that student debt, like work to the bone, work till you die, but you're living in the suburb next to rabbits instead of squirrels. And you think like you're really doing something, your life is better. Your life is not better. You're still in the social construct. You're not free. You're not searching your destiny. When we speak of Panther love, we are not just talking about serving the people as a form of charity. We don't do charity. When we give our food, we're not giving our food for charity. Yo, we're feeding our community, to bring our community in, to organize our community, to liberate ourselves. And in doing that, you must build survival programs because the people are starving. The people need resources. They need book bags. They need pens. They need material things. And you can't just keep running around saying, go pray, and you'll be all right. But as a means of creating a new social order based upon equality and true freedom. Panther love is revolutionary love, liberating love, world-changing love. We begin with the people's basic needs, their survival needs, because to make revolution, we must first survive. We are everywhere under the gun, and we are the victims and the survivors of genocide. All of us, every one of you sitting here. I mean, you're joining a legacy of people that have laid their lives down for humanity. I see no higher cause in the world. Making money is not the highest cause in the world. None of that. Going to sporting events, listening to entertainers, court justice, ball chases. That's not life. The people, being with the people, organizing with the people, survival, and learning. That is life. That is what life is about. Africa is the poorest place. I thought they were talking about me for a second. Africa is the poorest place on earth. That is, it is under the guns of imperialism and neocolonialism. Otherwise, it is the richest place on earth, richest in natural resources and cultural legacy of human social evolution. Africa is where it all began. Every person on the planet can trace their root to Mother Africa and to the first man and woman in the genetic chain that makes us all human family. I think, what was her name? Who will tell me that name? The first woman.
Who, Lucy?
Who?
Lucy?
Lucy. There we go. Yeah, Lucy. Nowhere did the pre-exploitative epoch last longer. Hey, when I grew up, I told you I grew up in Africa. I lived there from when I was 10 to from when I was 2 to I was around 9 or 10 years old. Yo, I'm reading this right here, and as soon as I read it, I went back in my memory, and I remembered where we lived at. We had a mango tree that was right there by our house, and we lived on the second floor. So in our hallway was open, and the mango tree, the mangoes used to fall off the mango tree right onto our hallway. So I remember as a kid, I would come out my father's room and I would pick up the mango off the floor and just eat it. I didn't have to go nowhere. I didn't have to go beg nobody for food. My father didn't have to. Yo, the mango fell right off the tree, right onto the hallway. And I pick up the mango and ate it. And it was nothing to me as a kid. I did this all the time. Every time I came out the room, I look and see if the mango fell off and fell in the hallway. I remember that. I remember those days. Yo, Africa is not poor. Africa is not poor. It is only poor because imperialists have created a social construct that makes it look so. Its wealth is its curse. Capitalism emerged, sucking the blood of Africa. European imperialists rose to global domination by colonial domination, slavery, and genocide, starting with Africa. Technological advances in the building of sailing ships gave the European merchants mastery of the seas in the 15th century. European nobles had gotten a taste of the riches and fine things of Asian craftsmanship during the Crusades. Hey, think about it. Yo, this is not to talk about anybody. This is not talking about white people. But think about Europe. I think what's his name said that? John Henry Clark. Who the fuck want to go capture Europe? Who want to go capture an icebox? Why would somebody from Africa that has a mango falling at their feet when they get up in the morning, why would they build ships to travel across seas to go get snow? It makes no sense, right? Africa's always been wealthy. It's wealthy not because Black people are there, but it's wealthy because of the conditions, because of the weather, because of the soil. That's why. And because it produces all these things, people are going to come in savages, imperialists, people that don't care about humanity, people that have been struggling for centuries to survive amongst amongst famine, those people will build ships to go across seas. You see, it's not about racism. Like they didn't get on ships and go across the world to go steal because of racism, because of imperialism. They need to control and own people. Because if you control and own those people, you can take their natural resources. And then we're sitting here in 2023, we're like, yo, that motherfucker, man, because he white, because he motherfucking black. I mean, like, these fucking niggers and shit. These fucking crackers and shit. When we don't understand that the entire point is resources. They're putting us against each other to take these resources and not be held accountable. They were hungry for the opulence of silk and jewels, spices and teas. But their conflict with Islam cut them off from the traditional trade routes that connected the Near and the Far East until the Portuguese found an alternative route by sailing around Africa. The Spanish then discovered the Western Hemisphere by sailing west to reach the Far East. But even though there was a great market for the goods of China and Europe, there wasn't much of a market for the goods of Europe and China until the Spanish started sending the silver extracted from Amerindian slave labor from Peru and Mexico. But look, listen, they're telling you all the places this savage has been, not just Africa, everywhere. Everywhere. They're over there with the Mexico messing with my Theano people, man. They're savages. While the China trade was the top end of mercantilism, the meat and potatoes was the triangle trade between Europe, Africa, and the Americas. This was based on transporting African slaves to the Americas, principally to Brazil and the Caribbean. Yo, as the more we read, you're going to hear all the places, the corners of the world these imperialists have touched. This stuff has been going on for centuries. You maybe just be entering the battlefield, but they've been here for centuries. To grow sugar to make rum. Rum and guns and the goods of European manufacturers were traded to the Amerindians of North America in exchange for furs for Europe and China that make hats and warm clothing for the rich. And rum and guns and goods of European manufacturers were traded to the Africans to get more slaves. None of that shit has anything to do with the people. It is all exploitation of the people. The introduction of tobacco as a commodity on the world market inspired colonization of North America and the creation of tobacco plantation worked by forced labor of local Amerindians. The transported poor of England and Ireland and African slaves. The transported poor. You look, those were the first wage slaves. Those were the first, what did they used to call it? Because it wasn't slavery, it was called another term. What was the other term? Indentured servitude. Those were the indentured servants. When you go through history, you see all this stuff, you read all this thing. I'm telling y'all, reading history is more enjoyable, more entertaining than watching any reality show, watching any TV out there. Transported poor of England and Ireland and African slaves. Eventually, African slaves were exclusively employed on the southern plantation of British North America because they noticed, like, we got to separate them. We can't have the people all working together because they're going to start fighting together. So they learned, like, we had to divide them. They started making codes. They started writing policies. Remember, I told you, social construct. They started writing policies and codes to separate people, to separate the Irish people, the English people, whatever people they brought from the dark Africans. Now the imperialists get to separate them, and you make one, you favor one over the other. And you draw the line. You put penalties in society if they break these rules. And then you get what we got today. Centuries of them working it, perfecting it. They have perfected their imperialism. While we're still here questioning if we should vote or not. As the genocide and dispossession of the indigenous Amerindian nations opened more land for cultivation, cotton was introduced. And after the invention of the cotton gin, the rate of profit was so great that millions of black slaves were imported and bred to work these plantations concentrated in, what's that word on the bottom, Secretary? I can't see it.
The Black Belt South.
The Black Belt South. This continued after the Civil War, when former slaves and poor whites were made sharecropping peasants tied to the land by terror of the KKK and institutionalized racism, and enforced illiteracy and poverty. Black people were forged into new African nation under the condition of internal colonialism. Like it's a social construct. That's what they're explaining to you. They're explaining it to you right here how they did it, how they separated the people, how they separated us. In Africa, European colonialism pushed inland as those fleeing enslavement moved inland. And here too, the European colonial settlers established plantations and instituted forced labor to grow export crops and work the mines, raping Africa of its great mineral wealth. The various imperialist powers of Europe carved up the continent into colonies and viciously suppressed resistance with genocidal violence. Countless millions of Africans and American Indians perished in the centuries of primitive accumulation of capital that brought forth the dominance of capitalism in the world, on the world's political economy. Like people think like the way we live, the way we exist, the way things going on outside, money, all this, it's always been here. People really don't understand this reality has this is all a design only a couple of 100 years old. And if it's a design that's only a couple of 100 years old, that means we can undo the design. This stuff that we're dealing with is not here because the law of science. The law of science is different. Gravity is gravity. If I like right now I'm on the second floor. If I jump out this window, I'm gonna break my legs. I don't care where I go. Gravity is gravity. That's the law of science. The way we're living, the material conditions we're going through, not being able to pay rent, not having enough money to buy food, those are all social constructs. Those are not science. There's a difference in the two. And we can change social construct. We can define the phenomena, and then we can make the phenomena work as we desire it to work. So we say the phenomena is public education, it's schools. The schools are trash. They're not educating our kids. So what do? You design your own institution, your own schools. So you have changed, you have described the phenomena and you have made it change to work for yourself. That's what we're talking about. These words are not just words that we're throwing out there. White racism emerged as justification. Yo, read that shit again, man. Let me bring that beat back. White racism emerged as justification for these great crimes against humanity. And Christianity offered its blessing for this spreading of civilization and saving the souls of the heathens. It's right there. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I didn't make, y'all know y'all see the quotations. White racism emerged as justification for these great crimes against humanity. So the imperialists like, yo, we got to break them. We got to divide them. We got to create something to make sure that these two groups are not together. Because if they're together, they're going to rebel and they're going to take us over like they did in Haiti. Because the white people, the whites in Haiti helped in the Haitian Revolution. They joined the black people to defeat France. Not only France, I think they defeated two other world armies. The white people joined them. But you never learned that in history. Because the people that control the social construct control what you read in school, what you know. But they helped them. They did, all of this was done. This was all just like, I was about to say something, I ain't even gonna say it. I pulled myself back. Christian missionaries worked to pacify and control colonized, offering the crumbs of Christian charity and limited educational opportunity to select class of elite Africans groomed in European. What's that last line? I can't see it on my computer.
Prejudices and culture to act as go-betweens and frontmen. So basically the Raj Barakas of the world.
Comprador class.
Hey, yo, cause like now, when you read in history, all you're gonna see is about Christian missionaries. You're gonna see about all the missionaries. I think I heard what's his name, man. I think he was the president in America, like in 1980. What was his name, yo? He was a Democrat. Come on, y'all know his name, the Democrat. They don't really mess with him like that.
Bernie?
Jesse.
No. He was no. He was president in like 1980.
Jimmy Carter?
Jimmy Carter.
Yeah,
Jimmy Carter. And when Jimmy Carter is a Christian, they always talk about him as a Christian. Like he's so honest and so. But this is all the stuff they support. These missionaries, they support things like sending these missionaries into the communities, saying they're bringing the word of God. When they're in there seasoning the people for the imperialists to come in and take over and kill them. They're in there learning. They're learning the languages. That's the Ras Barakas in our communities. These black politicians that say they're fighting, they're revolutionaries. They're activists. They're fighting for the people. When the whole time, they're the ones seasoning the people, getting the people to be extinct. Because we are being extinct. We are being displaced in our communities as we speak. That is why I approached them. Because like when you go everywhere out here, people are homeless, people are starving, people are in the streets. And you say when you become mayor, we all become mayor, but you're the only one that's a millionaire 5 times over, while everybody else is losing their homes and going to the streets and going to jail. But a few of these assimilated Africans, men like Patrice Lumumba, Amilcar Cabral, and Agostinho Neto, ended up becoming revolutionary intellectuals and leaders of anti-colonial struggles that rocked Africa in the post-World War II period. In the course of the world wars and in the awake, great upheaval and revolutions rocked the imperialist world. Yo, it's always going to be people that stand up to fight back. There's always going to be Panthers. Wherever the people are suffering, they're going to be Panthers. You're always going to find them. Like Patrice and them may know they were Panthers, but they were Panthers. They followed dialectic materialism. They believed in real democracy and the people controlling the means of production. They're Panthers. In 1917, the Russian Revolution brought forth the world's first socialist state. Following World War II, triumphant revolution in China, led by Mao Zedong. All of them, they're Panthers too. They all fought back. Mao Zedong and the Chinese Communist Party created a socialist people's republic in a formerly colonized third world country. All across Asia, Africa, and Latin America, anti-imperialism struggles challenged the reactionary dictatorship and colonial, what's that last line, Patience?
Administrations with the support of the socialist countries. I also want to add, like, if you guys are paying attention to what's going on in Africa, a lot of these military coups were trained by America to overthrow the previous government, and now they're overthrowing America's puppet government. So that speaks to the concept of how the imperialists and this capitalism will destroy themselves from within. And also that people around the world are fed up. They're gaining class consciousness and they're starting to fight back. And I'm hoping that's the same for Nigeria, because sometimes these things turn around to go back to helping the imperialists and stuff. But just pay attention to what's going on around the world.
All power to the people. Imperialism was seriously threatened, but it reasserted itself, and the U.S. emerged as the sole imperialist superpower. But the high tide of struggle in the 1960s shook up the system within the U.S. as well, with the revolt of Blacks and other oppressed people, students, women, and youth in general. The Black Panther Party emerged as a revolutionary vanguard of this mass upsurge. The Panthers combined vigorous community-based survival program with revolutionary political education, armed self-defense. Yeah, that's what we're doing right now. We right here with this political education class. We taking this thing every Sunday, getting our mind together. We're serving the people. We have the survival program. We're gonna make the announcement that we're giving out the food on Wednesday. We just came back from giving out resources earlier this afternoon. Yesterday, the other comrades went to another city, packed a whole U-Haul full of truck with the chairman, and they went to a whole nother city in the state and gave out resources. Yo, we doing that day to day. We on the front lines working. It won't be televised. They won't televise it. We got to televise our own revolution. Most successful was the Free Breakfast for Children program, started by the Seattle chapter of the BPP in 1968, which by the following year had been replicated by all of the party's chapters across the country. Getting up early every morning, the young Panthers served a hot breakfast to tens of thousands of poor Black children every. Finish reading that for me.
Black children every day. Mostly the program was run out of churches and community centers.
All power. Man, that was back then, 68, whatever they say back then. Today, we were giving out book bags and school materials in front of the church. The church leaders came outside and told us to move. They drove. The church leaders, cause we in a new day. imperialism gets hip to the game, and they strategize how to change things. So we out there, we giving out the food and stuff, not the food, giving out the school supplies, and we on Instagram telling people, hey, yo, wherever you at, bring your kids out, come get the school supplies. You don't have to pay nothing. Yo, we all in this together. Yo, the people that ran the church saw it on Instagram, pulled up. We got it on video. We recorded. Told you we are gonna record our own revolution. But they pulled up in the car and they told us we couldn't be out there. We had to move we moved the table
And
down.
the church wasn't even open.
Yeah, the
Say
church
that
wasn't.
part.
Yo, today is Sunday. They wasn't even at church. They're like 1 something, 2 something. Yo, they wasn't even at church. I don't know what kind of church it is. But these people cannot even be relied upon anymore. That's what I'm trying to say. These churches, whatever, but we still have to make a way. So if the churches are not going to let us inside to help the community, we'll do that thing on the streets. We'll do it on the sidewalk. And that's what we did today. This demonstrated the party's love for the people and the commitment of the community's health and welfare. Now, they're talking about the survival program, feeding the community, all of that, how it shows. Remember, I told you we don't do charity. I mean, we're reading it right here, how those programs made the people feel, how the people saw the Panthers. Other programs included liberation schools, free clinics, free clothing and shoes, free ambulance services, and other creative applications of the dictum too. But remember they said like powers being able to know phenomena, whatever, and make it work in desired fashion. The phenomena is people are starving, people can't eat, people can't survive, they can't go to the doctor. You produce these things. You notice that, you notice what's going on in the community, and then you produce the things to change what's going on in people's lives. And the people see that, and the people appreciate that. Serve the people. As U.P. Newton, the BPP Minister of Defense, pointed out, politics are merely the desire of individuals and groups to satisfy first their basic needs, food, shelter, and clothing, and security for themselves and their loved ones. Demonstrating that these things could be obtained through self-reliance was the first step in getting the people to see potentially of their taking history into their own hands. I'm gonna go back, bring the beat back. Demonstrating that these things could be obtained through self-reliance was the first step in getting the people to see the potentiality of their taking history into their own hands. The reason why I'm bringing that back, yo, you don't need to go to City Hall. Self-reliance. We don't need to go to City Hall. If we understand the phenomena is that we're wage slaves and we are all on plantations. These jobs don't care about us. And we organize our communities to build an underground railroad of dual contending powers, dual institutions. What do I mean by how do we build it? We all don't have money, but all together we have money. We can pull our resources together to build our own institutions. Now, I'm going to ask you, what you think is easier? Entering institutions of imperialism that have been designed for centuries to keep us oppressed. You're going to enter those institutions and change them, or talking to your neighbors and organizing with your neighbors to create the resources that you need in your community. Which one you think is easier? Yo, in the history of the world, we have never taken over imperialism. The people have never entered those institutions and changed them and made them work for them. The people create their own institutions. They become guerrilla. They go in the woods. They don't go down to They don't go down to the military base, go in and take over the military base. No, they go in the woods and they fight guerrilla war. They use the land. They live off the land. And that's how they fight. You don't take over their institution. You're not going to take over Howard, dog. You're not going to take over Yale. You're not going to take over the White House. You're not going to take over none of that. You don't have the weapons. You don't have the manpower. You don't have none of that. The only thing you have is your neighbor. The only thing you have is the people. It's your family. It's the people that you know. Once you organize them, those other institutions will wither away. If nobody gives credibility to the power, those in power, they will die. This demonstrated, no, I read this already. We must first of all make a concrete analysis of the conditions to assess the most urgent needs of the people in different settings and then organize the appropriate programs. uniting all who can be united in interfacing with existing groups and service as much as possible. Everywhere Black people are concentrated, there are common problems: poverty, hunger, police oppression, illiteracy, unemployment, disease, crime, homelessness, hopelessness, mental illness. Same things we're going through today. Every community, everybody that's here now, every single community that you're in, this is the stuff that we are going through. And the mental illness. See, when people say mental illness, this society, the way how the society works, makes people mentally ill. Think about that. I see poor people, homeless people that are walking in the street that just don't care. Like the car is coming, they're just walking like they have given up on life. It is not because they were born that way. It's because life has broken them. This system of how we survive as human beings has broken them, and they no longer care. Now they're walking around looking like they're crazy, like they're mentally ill, but capitalism broke them. Children wake up hungry. The elderly need help to survive. Families of prisoners want to see and hear from their loved ones. The homeless seek shelter. The workers want better wages and working conditions. All of these basic needs and more need to be addressed by the party and the People's Mass Organization. And that's what we try to do with Serving the People program, wherever we at. To accomplish this, the party must initiate and build neighborhood councils composed of veteran organizers and respected elders of the communities. Programs can be organized under these councils, including employment of people security forces. These councils will serve as parallel government formations in oppressed communities and the embryo of people's power. The party should set as its goal, seeing that every poor Black child on the planet starts a day with a wholesome breakfast. This includes areas of Africa where famine is raging. It will take an army of workers to achieve this goal, and it is an army we must build. Children are not hungry, even starving, because there is a shortage of food in the world, but because their families cannot afford to buy enough food, and there is no profit in feeding them. Every basic unit of the party should maintain a mobile field kitchen and stockpile of powdered eggs and milk and dry goods to make hot cereal and cocoa, so that it can set up to provide emergency breakfast for masses of children in disaster situations. Party members should be rotated to do service in other regions and countries wherever poor Black people are. Finish that for me, Secretary General. Wherever poor Black people are.
I'm having technical difficulty. Gabby, can you finish
that?
that?
Go ahead, Gabby. Go ahead, get that.
Oh, sorry about that. I will read it right now. I can't see as well. I can't see that.
Yeah, it said countries wherever poor Black people are.
Oh yeah, I see it. Countries wherever poor Black people are, and we should be as active in Luanda, Kinshasa, that's how I pronounce it, and Dar es Salaam.
Cape Town.
And I can't read what says under that, like it cuts off.
I think it says Cape Town and Port-au-Prince, as in Harlem, Detroit, Chicago, Compton, and Oakland. Thanks a lot. This massive undertaking is central to the party's work and other programs such as supporting the establishment of growers co-ops, food co-ops, liberation school, daycare centers, and free clinics should be unfolded around it. Look at the co-ops right there. It says growers co-ops, food co-ops. That means all of us working together. Those are cooperatives. Us building cooperatives to be able to sustain ourselves. So people are asking, if we can't trust the mayor, we can't believe in these people, what do? We build our own cooperatives where we're working together. We are not going to sell our homes to corporations. Like we're not going to have a cooperative and then we turn around and sell our cooperative to venture capitalists that exploit us and our children. It don't work that way. If we come together and we pool our resources and we go through these political education classes and we understand what our purpose is in society and in life, and we're working together, we will never sell. We will never sell to anybody. Our communities will not be gentrified. So if you want another option, choose the people. Fight with the people, and then we can win. AIDS, HIV is an epidemic, particularly affecting Black people. AIDS kills some 6,000 people each day in Africa. 2.2 million of the 3 million people who died from AIDS in 2002 were Africans. 2.2 million of the 3 million. Jesus Christ, that's crazy. 2.2 million of the 3 million people who died from AIDS in 2002 were Africans.
That's disgusting.
Yo, that's crazy. Yo, like Jesus Christ, how is that even possible? Almost 2/3 of those affected by AIDS, HIV are in Africa, and Black people make up a
Genocide.
Yeah, Africa make up a considerable number of the 9.8 million victims outside of Africa. 40 million African AIDS orphans are predicted by 2010. Like, to make matters worse, AIDS relief efforts have been backing off from condom distribution under pressure from the Bush administration in favor of abstinence education. See, that's that missionary stuff. Remember the missionary stuff I was talking about? They put these missionaries in the community to tell people that they shouldn't use condoms, that they shouldn't have sex, which leads to more cases of AIDS and all these things that was going on back then. These people are really savages. And this is not like 60, 70, 80, 90 years ago. They say George Bush, that son bitch still alive. I mean, George Bush, you know, Iraq George Bush, Afghanistan George Bush. Who has more bodies on their hand than them? Who have killed more people than this Bush family? This is deep. Favor of abstinence education and offering bounties to girls who remain virgins. In response to this problem, the party should strive to distribute hundreds of millions of condoms with a Black Panther logo and the words "survive and make revolution" in many languages on the whatever's down here.
Packaging on the packaging.
Thank you.
Oh, sexy.
Sexy lady.
Sexy.
The broadest international support should be sought to fund this effort. A mass publicity campaign involving buttons, posters, billboards, website, and TV and radio spots should be waged. And in particularly mass youth organizations should be established to help with fundraising and condom distribution. Yo, we got to get to work. You got to get, it may not be condoms, it may be something else. It may be people finding something to eat, people finding somewhere to stay, but we got to get to work. The issue of finding, sponsoring families, both in the country and internationally, for AIDS and war orphans should also be addressed by the party. This is an area where the party can grandstand, creating media events where plane loads of orphans from Africa are united with host families in America and Europe. These families can also be enlisted in mass mobilization to call attention to the issue and the obstruction of the imperialists. The situation presents a wide range of problems calling for a variety of programs, including free clinics, free prenatal care. Hey, go ahead, take over, y'all.
Right on. Sorry.
Take over.
Where again? Oh, free prenatal care and maternity centers, immunization, sewage treatment, and sorry, let me just make the screen bigger. There we go. Composting, drug and alcohol rehabilitation programs, abuse shelters, hospices, public health education, and free ambulance services. The quote barefoot doctor unquote program developed in People's China can be replicated, training volunteers in traditional herbal medicines so they can go deep into the countryside to provide medical and health services. Well digging crews can address the problem of potable drinking water, particularly in the urban shanty towns and poor villages. Portable public chemical toilets can also be used. Swamps can be drained, and so on and so forth. We don't need the oppressors. You know, the oppressed need the oppressed. The oppressor needs the oppressed, but the oppressed do not need the oppressors. You know, we can rely on ourselves.
All power to the people.
All
No,
power.
it's right here. Yo, like most people think, like if you become a Panther, you got to come out here, and you got to go get guns, you got to go marching, you got to go. Yo, like no.
Yeah.
If you're a doctor, yo, just come down to the Panther base on like a Saturday, and do some work for the community. Do checkups, do eye checkup, dental, whatever. Check their blood, like give them services.
Can I say something, comrade?
You said what?
I said, can I say something?
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, at the end of the day, being a revolutionary is solving societal problems. That's all it is. You don't have to be in the front lines in order to be a revolutionary. If you're providing for your community, if you're helping your community become self-sufficient, if you're educating your people, your community on dialectical historical materialism, if you're providing for them the material conditions and the material needs, and you're giving them the ideological and political line for them to become militant eventually, you're a revolutionary. That doesn't make you any less of a revolutionary as someone who's in the front lines, because as long as you're providing for the people and providing for your community, then you're revolutionary. Because at the end of the day, you know what being revolutionary means, Captain Africa? Being revolutionary means moving human development forward. That's what it means. That's what it means. It's a human development.
All power to the people. Nah, you're 100% correct. But like they give us all these laws that make us think like, changing conditions, revolution. It means like you got to go to war, do all this. Nah, man. It really don't mean none of that. The party's work among prisoners resolve around the strategy of turning the iron houses of oppression into schools of liberation, and the oppressed communities into base areas of cultural, social, and political revolution. And the struggle for prisoners' right against cruel and unusual punishment, including capital punishment, the sentence of life without parole, and indefinite confinement in the SHU, special housing units, without review. We raise the demand, no incarceration without representation, and call for amending the 13th Amendment, abolish all slavery. So special human rights watchdog communities should be organized to monitor prisons, sentencing, and parole proceedings. Legal defense funds should be created for political prisoners and movement lawyers trained and retrained to free them. Free bus rides and overnight accommodations should be organized for the families of prisoners, and they should be organized to press for prison reform. Mutual aid associations should be formed among these families, and the party should carry out political education among them. Particularly attention should be paid to the welfare of children. What's that on the bottom?
Children of prisoners.
Oh, children of prisoners, all power. The Hasan Liberation class covers a wide range of political theory, social movements, the true history of Africa. We find it necessary to couple theoretical learning with boots on the ground. Theory and practice must go hand to hand. Panther power starts with seeking first the political inclusion of the masses in everyday life as drivers of revolutionary change. As Comrade Malcolm X once stated, education is the passport to the future. We in the Panther Revolution, what they say? We in the Panther Revolution.
Let me see. Where is it again? Sorry.
Last line.
Last line.
I got it. We in the Panther Revolution intend to make the future bright.
All power to the people.
Right on.
In rejecting the narrow nationalism on which the new Black Panther Party was founded and returning to the original 10-point program of the BPP, the NABPP prison chapter adopts a broader perspective. We reject hate and playing the racial blame game. The old definition of nationalism no longer apply. The new reality does fit the language. The new African nation is no longer a predominantly peasant nation concentrated in the Black Belt South, but a dispersed nation of predominantly proletarian composition. Let me see something. Rejecting the new national. Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring back. Like See, we talk about the prison chapter, the newspapers and whatever. I'm gonna say it again. The White Panthers out in Chicago have started doing this. They have created newspapers that they send into the prison system to organize the people behind the wall, behind those chains. I mean, like, we're doing this. We're doing this. The Rainbow Coalition is doing this. Yo, we working out here. And this is what activism is. This is what organizing is. Like, you reading this, you study these things, and then you put them into practice. Not just sit back and post on Facebook all day. We are part of the multinational U.S. working class and the international working class. It is also true that we are part of the Pan-African nation and comprise a significant portion of its proletariat. We still suffer national oppression, but not in the same old way. The emergence of U.S. imperialism as the sole superpower and headquarters of global imperialism has changed the situation. The principal enemy and oppressor of the people of Guinea-Bissau and the Cape Verde Islands, Angola, Mozambique, no longer Portuguese imperialism, as it was in the 60s, 70s. Throughout Africa, the rising force and dominant vampire is U.S. imperialism, along with its pack of junior partners, exercising neo-colonial domination. Many of the forces that resisted direct colonial rule have dropped their Marxist and African socialist politics and become eager allies and clients of U.S. imperialism, as if the problem of the fox in the chicken coop was to get a bigger fox. The same superpower and headquarters of the New World Order is now principal enemy and neo-colonial slave master of the whole African diaspora. European imperialism still exists in Africa, and it is fighting by proxy to retain some measure of its old feeding ground in Africa and elsewhere. But it is the Americans who consolidating their grip. But who is the Americans who are consolidating their grip? The practicality and desirability of Pan-African unity is now infinitely greater than ever before. It is important to have a regularly published newspaper that is a collective organizer that links up all the fronts on which the party is active, and that is published in all necessary languages. This can be accomplished with the internet computer technology, and it is also possible to run a new wire on the net to supply raw news to Panther radio outlets. These local radio shows can also be carried on the internet. Hey, yo, we need to have our own podcast. This political education class, it does serve as a podcast too, though. But like during the week, we gotta have different shows, different stuff. I know I know some people here have their own book readings and stuff. Like, we have to come together. Like, I don't know. We're gonna do it. We're going to do it. Not that we're not gonna do it. We have to come together and find out how we can strategically do this. So we're all working together to produce these propaganda to reach out to the people, to get the people to understand the condition that they're in. We have to find a way to do that. Like, in the next couple of weeks, months, I'm gonna be really looking to join that effort and making that happen. Because that's what they're saying. We have to be able to get our word out. We have to be able to let people know that there's somebody out here fighting for them, that we're still out here. Because every day they're bombarded with corporate media, and they believe what the people in corporate media say. Whoever you turn on, you could go from the most reactionary, let's say Fox, and you could go all the way down to, let's say, Jimmy Dore, let's say whoever is on the what do they call themselves? Independents, whatever they want to call themselves. All these people participate in the electoral process hustle. The only option they give you is the institutions of white supremacy. That's the only option they give you. Like Jimmy Dore. I watch Jimmy Dore. I mean, I listen to Jimmy Dore. I like some of the stuff he said. I agree with him more than anybody else. Keeping it a buck with you. But there's a limitation. I mean, and when you say this stuff, people usually get mad at you when you tell them the truth about what it is. But it is what it is. He could be mad. There's a limitation. His analysis points back to imperialism. They're going to go vote. Go down there and go vote for somebody, Cornel West, RFK, whoever they want to choose, for you to go down there and go vote for, and things will change. And that's not how this shit works. Everybody could vote. You could all vote. That's not changing how imperialism works, how their institutions function. I mean, and that's the limitation that I believe they have. I mean, whether they want to agree with it or not, it's up to them. But whoever you listen to, they got one Black Power Media. They got the other dude, what's his name? The black guy, Fox something. But anyway, they got all these different people that have all this supposed to be independent media, but they're all pushing the same electoral process hustle. Everywhere the party organizes, it should be. I think I read this already. Yeah, I read this already. We need a line of communication and education to understand our history, our situation, and collective corrective action to affect our common liberation. Pantherism is the glue to hold together the Pan-African world. Each country must form its own vanguard party, an army of liberation to carry forward new democratic revolution and advance to socialism. But it must also be guided towards a union of African People's Republics, a union as unbreakable as bound together bundle of arrows. Understanding the role that the party must play is also understanding the role others must play and how these roles fit together to serve the highest interests of humanity. The party cannot be all things. Its special purpose is to represent the future in the movement of the present and illuminate the path forward. It is a Black revolutionary nationalist party that recognizes that class struggle and socialist revolution is the path forward. Black people, let me bring that back. When you grow up as a Black person, when we grow up, we see everything like they make us, our schools, everything, we're indoctrinated to see our issues as only from a Black perspective. I never learned about class in school. They never taught me about class. I never understood the class dynamic. I never. There's no Black dynamic without a class dynamic. I mean, capitalism is a byproduct, racism is a byproduct of capitalism. That's how that thing there works. I mean, so just because we see everything from a Black perspective, that doesn't mean there's no class perspective in there. And you have to understand, as you evolve, because I evolved as I learned. As I learn more, I start to evolve in my thinking and come to see that Ras Baraka is just as evil as any white nationalist anywhere. I'm gonna repeat that again. Ras Baraka is as evil and as oppressive as any KKK member anywhere. Now, it's not because his name is Ras Baraka, it's because of the people he served, the imperialist class that he served. I'm not saying this because I don't like him. I don't really know him that well. We don't really talk like that for me to understand what motivates him. But I know who he's working for. He's working for the imperialists that made us homeless, that kicked us out of our homes. Yeah, we lost our homes too under this. He's working for the same government that locked me up, that locked everybody up in our community. That makes you an accessory to the crimes against the people. Black people alone cannot make this revolution. Not even all people of color in America acting together can do that. A significant section of the white workers and people in general must commit themselves to this revolution. And to lead this requires a vanguard party of the whole U.S. proletariat acting in a detachment of the whole world proletariat. What we can and must do on our own is use our struggle to create more favorable conditions for this revolution by liberating to the greatest extent possible the ground under our feet, creating base areas of revolution in our communities and culturally, socially and politically asserting our will and desire for all the way revolution. Too many people have become addicted to the insanity, and pulling a new order out of this chaos is a great challenge. But the struggle is a great teacher. We must use the struggle and let it teach us, sowing the seeds for the ultimate showdown with imperialism, sowing the seeds for the people's victory. When we build our institutions, our dual contending power, we're going to have to protect them. Comrade Jack Jackson's words at the top of this essay are more glaringly true today than when he wrote them more than 30 years ago. They call out to us to be the righteous people. Go ahead, Secretary General. The righteous people, what?
Oh, I can read it if that's okay.
Go ahead.
To be the righteous people who can get at the monster's heart.
All power. Word up. All power.
Right on.
To perform this service, we must be worthy. We must kick our addiction to the insanity and purge ourselves of hate. We must nurture and fill our heart with love, Panther love. We must commit ourselves to a long and protracted struggle, one that will test and strengthen us, perfect us, and make us worthy to win the love and respect of the whole world and future generations. We must dare to struggle and dare to win. All power to the people. Discussions.
All power to the people.
Hey, wait. Hey, hold up a second. Hey, Secretary General, you there, right?
Yes, I'm here.
Yo, it'll text the chairman and stuff and see and make sure I want to make the announcements because I know we got the
He's
food.
right here. He was just on the screen. Go ahead, Chairman.
Yeah, we want to make the
All power.
we want to make the announcement for the cookout. We want to make the announcement for the food this week. And also, Chairman, tell us a little bit about what happened yesterday when y'all went out to give out the food, the supply.
All power to the people. Okay, so yesterday we went to Trenton, New Jersey. We were invited to partake in a low-income neighborhood that sorely needs those kind of programs. So we gave out a bunch of food. They had it was essentially a block party where they was giving out literature, talking to the people about the conditions in the country. So it was a great time. We had a great time out there. We spent about 5 hours out in Trenton, just interacting and mingling with the people. Wednesday, we have a food program, which comrades on the program already know about. It'll be from 11 to 1. So if anybody within New York or New Jersey want to partake in that program, come to the Hasan Community Center. And then on the 27th, we're having our annual Hasan Shakur memorial. We're going to have a cookout. Some of the things that we got is amazing. So let me just list some of the things. So I have right now in my possession over 120 book bags, all different colors. I'm talking about the real nice ones. I have over 200 pencils. I have over 100 erasers. I have USB chips for the students that need to put their stuff on computer. I have a whole bunch of notebooks, probably like 500 notebooks. And that's just half of the stuff. We're also going to have food. We're going to be giving out food that day, in addition to the hot dogs and hamburgers. We're going to have invited speakers, free haircuts. So it's going to be one big festival of the press. Hopefully, comrades in the surrounding areas can attend. With that, that's it. All power to the people.
All power to the people, comrade. I wanted you to let them know, man, because hey, Chairman, you're doing a good job, Chairman. I mean, no awards is gonna be given to you by the privileged nation, but we see you, Chairman. Hey, and I want you, I don't know if the white party, anybody from the white party said, but I want you to send, they should send those pictures and stuff in the next article that they write. Are we doing that?
All power to the people, exactly. Yeah, I think Rob Rickshaw, somebody is up here.
Word up. I mean, but I see the homie Stone Cast over there. Yo, he outside. Yo, what's up, Stone, man? How you doing, Stone?
Stone is actually living off.
Good, man.
He's really living off the grid, huh, Stone? He's living off the grid.
Well, they ain't giving me a choice about this stuff, man. So I'm gonna take some time and kind of rewire my brain and get out of this individualist mindset that society has pushed on me, and then I'm gonna figure out what I can do for y'all.
Hey, but check this out. Now you're doing a lot right now. Hey, check this out. Stonecaster was going. We're talking about rent, affordability of living. Stonecaster is going through the same thing. We're all going through it. Yo, can you show us around where you at? You have a bed. You have what's going on out there? Talk to us.
Oh, for sure. I was actually kind of prepared because I was planning a trip out to Chicago.
Yeah.
And then got evicted last minute. And the cop, I told him too, I was like, they can't just kick me out, right? He's like, no, they got to give you 30 days. Well, I guess they went to the court and got a restraining order, and then they can just kick you out whenever they want to.
Yeah.
So it's all about what that judge says. But
So-
yeah, got a little tent situation going on.
Yeah.
Got some clothes from the Poor People's Army when I met up with them. And then I'm all about privacy at my campsite, but there's really no one else here at Illini State Park. There's my little kitty, Arigato.
And how is it?
It's nice, dude. I like being outside, you know. If you plan, then you can do everything, you know, you need to do.
All
But I
power,
mean, like clean water and stuff like that, you got to think, you got to prepare, you know.
all power to the people. Hey, yo, I try to get them. I try to get the family to go camping. They are not following me with that one. They do not.
Yeah,
want
my family doesn't either.
Well, now, but I may pull up. I may come out just to come see you. But the family don't want to hear that. They do not want to hear them bugs. Like they city slickers.
I hear you.
Yo, but is there anybody with their hand up that want to talk about anything?
Don't anybody. If you can put your hand up or not, or you can just jump on if you got anything. Go ahead, Gabby. I see Gabby and then Howie.
Yeah, you know, I just want to say that last part that we just read, you know, about revolutionary love. I just want to say, you know, a revolutionary is oftentimes guided by two emotions, you know, love for his fellow comrades and his fellow human beings, and hatred for the white supremacists and the oppressor class. You know, I despise and hate these reactionary white supremacist bastards that make life a living hell for all of us, you know, but that hatred that I have for them, you know, it will never surpass the love that I have for humanity, you know, for everyone here, for all of the revolutionaries who are still alive, who have passed away, because while that hatred is valid, you know, while that hatred for these white supremacist fascist pigs is 100% valid, we can't let it consume us, you know. We can't let it eat us up alive, lest we become bitter and isolated with the masses, you know. As Comrade Che said, the true revolutionary is guided by a great feeling of love. It is impossible to think of a genuine revolutionary lacking this quality. If you don't love the proletariat, then you're not a revolutionary. It's as simple as that. If you don't love your fellow human being, if you don't want to see your fellow comrade do better, if you don't want to see a better future for the next generation, the next generation after that, and the next generation after that, you're not revolutionary. You know, it's all about love.
All power to the people. You know, I saw Howie.
We have Andy. Howie left, and so we got Andy next.
Yeah, if Howie come back, we let Howie go ahead. Well, go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, I just want to express my appreciation for this wonderful class. I didn't know what it was going to be like, but I am super elated to be here. And I think also that this is indicator that the content of the time, the revolutionary content of the time that we're living in, is finding its expression in this gathering and in the future gatherings that we have. I do think that I've been trying the one piece of information I've been trying to interject in all these discussions seems to be here already, but I think it's really important that we realize that the capitalism as a system of exploiting human labor has just about shot its shot. I mean, they have a situation now where it's cheaper for them to put robots in manufacturing than it is to have even slaves. You have to feed a slave. You have to, you know, make sure they get a little water and a little sleep. But that with these robotics, and that's an accelerating thing, exponential thing. It's creating realities that have never been seen before. Now, I don't like it, but it's insane for us to say, well, we're going to go back to the old ways, because that's what the fascist line is to, oh, well, we'll just go back to clean coal, or we'll go back to good old hardworking American labor. They're not going to do that. They're lying. They have no solution except to force their rule through the means of the police and the army down our throat. But strategically, they are very weak. They have armies made up of, all kinds of working class kids who just wanted a good meal and a possible college education. So strategically, they're really weak. Tactically, they're still pretty vicious. And we are on, not only are we on the right side of history, but the consciousness that's expressed in this meeting is astronomical. While the rest of the left lies in rot and in their own idiotic politics, this is bringing forth a whole new thing and a whole righteous thing and a whole the possibility of winning actually exists now, and I'm so glad to have lived to see. I can't even tell you.
Yo, man, hey, Andy, welcome home, Andy. Like, not even
All power.
Yo, all power is like when I come here, these are the
All
smartest.
power.
Yo, this is the smartest space I'm in all week when I come here, because I listen to all media account and I try to hear what they're saying so I can understand what they're talking about. And when I come here, I get to meet people like you, Andy. Real talk. And I know you have a wealth of knowledge that you can impart. You, and I'm about to go to Tom next. And I love being in these spaces with the chairman, with everybody here, because I get to learn from everybody else here. And that's what we're doing here. And I love it that you're here, Andy.
Well, I appreciate it. I love being here.
All power.
Appreciate you.
All power.
You, Cap Necklace.
All power. Right. Talk to me, Tom. Power. Everybody turn your volume down. You know Tom coming through. Let's go, Tom. Don't cut your volume off, Tom. Come on, talk.
There we go. Oh, I lost the video. Hold on.
Oh, you sound perfect, Tom.
Okay. Can you see me? I got a new camera.
Yes,
Tom, you got a camera.
That camera look good, Tom. Okay, Tom. You in 21st century now.
You look like Moses. Looking like Moses.
Look like Moses.
Well, I wanted to say to Gabby, and it's a little tricky, but you learn to master it, and that is to not hate the reactionary, but the ideas, and see it as a disease that the person's infected with. And if people sense that you care about them as a person, they will let you present ideas to them that they are programmed to thoroughly reject, simply because they feel the concern and the care that's in your soul, your voice and everything. And I've gone into biker bars and attacked Harley Davidson, and gotten away with it. You have to have Panther love developed in yourself to where it's your main weapon.
Yep. Right on.
You know what I mean?
I get what you mean, man.
The gun is basically a defensive weapon that you use when you're, back to the wall. Panther love is an aggressive weapon where we can go out into society and bring ideas to people that they've been told are horrible, and yet they feel through us that this person is not talking about something horrible. They're talking about something that makes perfect sense in a world that doesn't make sense.
Yep.
And it's real strength. People that hate the Nazis and the fascists and stuff burn themselves out and often become the people they hate. You see that with some of the anarchists. They become more fascistic instead of less.
All power.
All power. Right on.
We have to teach not only by media and by everything else, but by the way we live our lives, and communicate that to others.
Yep, by example.
All power.
All
That's
power.
what I'm-
Right on.
We have Richard Lewis next.
What's
Go ahead,
up,
Richard.
What's up,
What's up,
Richard?
all power? What's up?
Hey,
All
Rich.
power.
Yeah, New African Black Panther Party, part of that newsletter too, man. I'm a minister
All
of
power to the
information
people.
now.
That's
Yeah, all
right.
power.
That's right.
Hold on, you the
That's
minister,
right.
right?
Yeah, he got
Yeah.
promoted. He got promoted. Tell him,
Hell
brother. That's
yeah.
right.
Send me that info. I got you. I'm propagating around these parts, man.
All
Salute.
power,
All
comrade.
power, man.
Right
But yeah,
on.
great work. I whatever y'all need, I'm designing websites, graphic designs, whatever.
Yo, you know what I need? I need a copy. I need my own copy all the time so I can take it out and show people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
that's what I need.
But the newsletter, yeah.
Yeah,
The
I need my
website
own
is
copy.
up, rightonnews.com. You can download it right there.
Right on
Yeah, so what I'm
news.com.
gonna do? What I'm gonna do, Africa, when I go to work tomorrow, I'm gonna try to get like 500 of the news papers copied at Essex County College. That way, we can go out on the street corners to the festivals and pass them out and talk to people about our ideas. So I'm gonna try to do that tomorrow when I go to work.
All power to the people.
Okay, all power to the people.
Hey, I think that's it right there. Hey, look, man, this what time?
No. We got that was Richard. Gabby, you got something else to say, Gabby? You have your hand up?
Yeah, I just wanted to also add that I'm also a part of the Right On committee as well.
Hell yeah.
Africa. I'm also a part of their I'm a writer there, so so if you ever if you're ever interested in giving me something to write about, just let me know.
I got
Right
you.
on.
I got you, comrade. I got you. So it's 8:54. We've been here almost 2 hours. Yo, I hate to say goodbye, but look, tomorrow's Monday. You gotta get back on those plantations. Now, I mean, it'll stay motivated and understand we're working on this Underground Railroad together. Until next time, you ain't even gotta wait till next time. You can hit me on any social media platform. If you don't have my number, hit the group chat. I'm gonna get you the number. So, like, until next time we speak, all power to the people. I live
All
for
power.
I die
All
for
power to the people.
All power.
All power to the people.
Panther power.
All right.
All power to the people, comrades. All
All
power.
power.
See y'all next week.
See y'all.
All right.